First, I would like to go with Dr. Parak, sir. Sir, can you please give us a brief idea about what is ICMR and what is this ICMR STS?
Thank you, Venkatesh. So ICMR is the Indian government's premier body or organization with regard to research. And ICMR has a mandate to promote research in the field of medicine in India. And what better way rather than to start inculcating the attitude and aptitude towards research early in the any medical professional's career, which is right from the student's time itself. So postgraduate students surely do engage in research in the form of a postgraduate thesis or dissertation, as we know. In ICMR since 1979, in fact, a long many years has been this program running, which is called STS, which is short-term studentship, where the ICMR invites applications and provides stipend to the students, the selected students, and thereby the ICMR promotes research, even starting from the undergraduate students' days itself. So the history is quite long, and STS has been becoming popular these days with the advent of technology. The applications are online, and after COVID especially, we have been using technology a lot. So since last few years, a lot of students, ICMR has been a buzzword among medical students as well. And whenever it's time that the ICMR is about to announce the STS studentships, there is a lot of discussions happening around, and you see a lot of buzz around this. So to clear few of the questions, we are here in this session today. So that's about STS.
Thank you, sir. So I would like to ask, why should I, as a MBBS student, as someone studying in second and third year, why should I apply for ICMR STS in first place? What will be my future benefit?
Uh, yes, Venkatesh. So that's a question which we come across very commonly in the student's mind, because the way that undergraduate curriculum is, it is very less number of times that the students would be doing something on their own individually, where the students would be getting mentorship by a faculty member, where the student gets to talk to a faculty member one-on-one. So that's why some of the students have this hesitation, and research in itself, many people believe is a very complex science. So to start about research, or start thinking about research from studentship itself can look a little complex. So if we can think about why anybody, or maybe starting even at the age of undergraduate age, should be thinking about research, is that let's say everyone, if I can see that when you become a doctor, complete your MBBS, there are two paths. Either you become a consumer of research, where every doctor wishes to keep updated of themselves, whatever the updates in medical sciences happens. So for that, one needs to know how do you critically evaluate the literature. So maybe in the specialty of your choice, when you look at the new articles, you need to at least be aware how do you read those articles. So everyone is a consumer of research. Some of us who are interested may become contributors to research as well. So some of us may take full-time research career, as Dr. Shiv was earlier mentioning, that someone can take a PhD and can eventually become a scientist at ICMR or other similar places where there is a scope for a full-time career in research as well. Also, for example, if you are a faculty member at a medical college or at a teaching institute, out of the different areas such as teaching, research, and the service or clinical practice, research is also an important part. So there, a part of your career or part of your time spending from 9 to 5 would be spent on research. So these are the two aspects. So even if you do not end up being in a full-time or part-time career for research, you will always be a consumer of research. uh, STS in particular gives us a chance to explore this particular research process in detail, so that we are better informed. Either we are contributor or consumer for research. Another important thing that I would like to mention is about the one-to-one mentoring. That if you take up a project, you'll be spending more time with a guide. And so, for example, if you take up a topic in the specialty of your choice, if you are interested in pediatrics or if you are interested in ENT, and you end up taking a student research project, you will be getting a chance to explore that particular specialty more in detail with the guidance of a faculty member. So that way, it would give you a chance to explore the future career options as well. Some of the students in India wish to go abroad for further studies. So they're a part of the professional portfolio also. if you have conducted a research project, that helps, because the research project gives you an opportunity to enhance your skills in many directions, some of which we are going to talk about in the next questions. When you take up postgraduate studies, if you have an experience of undergraduate research, it would help you in your postgraduate dissertation as well. Now, apart from this, overall, say for example, even at the senior age of a doctor's life, when a doctor publishes a scientific article in a medical journal, it's a great satisfying moment. So today also, if I get a publication, it's a great satisfaction that I contributed a bit, my bit to science. So each publication that we come out with is a great moment of satisfaction. So if you can start that early, you can have that enjoyment, satisfaction of contributing to science as well. And the last thing that I would mention would be that the amount of stipend that ICMR offers, which was 20,000 earlier for a period of 2 months, has increased to 50,000 now. So that's also some of the incentive. So overall, if we look at those points, we see that there are many aspects. Different people would be interested in different aspects. So there are a lot to gain if you participate in research in the student life itself.
Thank you, sir. As someone who is motivated by this webinar, if I'm going to apply and submit my proposal to the ICMR, but if ICMR rejects my proposal, what is going to happen next? What will be the outcomes?
Yes. So Venkatesh, I see that many of the students, they feel that if, say for example, ICMR, their ICMR project gets selected, they feel very happy about it and have the motivation to complete the project. But since the number of studentships which are available for, let's say, medical students is only 1,200, and with the increasing interest, a lot many students are applying. So it's quite possible that many of them would end up, their projects would end up not getting selected. Now, that does not mean that their project was not good enough, or the topic was not novel, or the methodology was not good. So essentially what happens is that when the competition is so high, many projects would eventually not end up being approved. Does not mean that you are not good enough. Many projects are really good enough and holds the value, worth contributing a lot to science. So I would wish that everyone, student who takes up projects and applies to the ICMR STS, continues the project irrespective of whether it gets approved or not. It is not, I mean, first of all, I wish to clarify that even if not selected, you are allowed to carry out the project further. Not only that, I would encourage everyone to continue with the projects, because say for example, when you write ICMR proposal, you would have spent a little amount of your time, your resources, your guide would have talked to you several times, would have guided, would have provided inputs, and would have spent time. So if we do not pursue research further, just because ICMR could not approve your project, it would not be appropriate. So to respect the guide's time and your own time, your own commitment, you should be continuing. Not getting approval from ICMR would just mean that you will not be getting one certificate from ICMR and, let's say, 50,000 money. But then all the other benefits which we have just now talked about continue. So there is no reason why we should be stopping. So say for example, even if your project does not get approved by ICMR as part of STS, you still can complete it, get it published, and then get all the other benefits. So we should continue.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Now I'd like to request Dr. Anirban, sir, to guide us on how to apply for ICMR STS. What are the basic rules and regulations, sir?
Thank you, Venkatesh. Thanks so much, Dr. Parag. He has mentioned very clearly about why we should apply, or the student should apply in the ICMR STS project, and what does it mean, what is its ultimate outcome, and if someone fails to achieve this ICMR STS finally, so he should continue, or he or she should continue this with the same zeal and energy to cover up, to end the study, so that he will get some kind of research motivation, as well as will get some kind of benefit in his future also. So I am going to share my screen. Is it visible, Venkatesh?
Yes, sir, it is. It is visible.
Okay, okay, okay. So the first of all, I'd like to mention. Okay. So first of all, I would like to mention, if you want to apply for this ICMS short-term studentship, you need to know what is the eligibility criteria. So the MBBS or BDS students from a recognized medical or dental colleges, they can appear, they can apply for this STS studentship. This is almost known to everybody nowadays, but when it was started, it's seen that only 50 to 100 students all throughout the country have applied for this. But till today, it is almost, we have checked that every year almost 4,500 to 5,000 students are applying for STS regularly. So I would like to mention that STS is in a paperless work and online submission. So I am going to give you the data that the last date of registrations is 11th February 2022 by 5 p.m. And the last date of submission of the application and proposal will be on 21st January 22 and 21st February 22. So if anyone wants to apply for this student ICMS short-term studentship STS, they need to fill up a form which is content this kind of form. And here you need to mention the student's complete ID, email ID, the phone number, and the name. Name should not be written in the all capitals, but should be written in proper form, because if you are selected, your name will be come in the certificate as you are giving in this form. So date of joining of BDS and MBBS courses, your state, your MBBS or BDS course, and your year. And if you are
Okay.
so this is the form. This form it includes this kind of data. When you are giving, you put in the state like West Bengal or like that, or Bihar or like that. So the name of the colleges will come in this drop down list, and you will select from them, and then you give your college address and pin code, and you need to put your student personal details like nationality, gender, date of birth, along with the home address and all. So after that, the complete submission, you will get this kind of pop-up page which will describe that, dear Mr. or Miss something, you have been successfully registered for that, and email of confirmation, including the user ID, password, and email ID, will go into your email address. So after that, you need to log in through this login ID, your login ID given into your mail, and you should apply your password that is you have received through your mail. So after that, you will get this kind of page, and here you can see that there are 4 parts: part A, part B, part C, and part D. Part A is the registration details which you have already filled up during your registration process. So submission of second part is very much crucial, that is your details of the guide. Or part B, you need to write or put your guide name, their designation, his designation, his or her designation, department, the state, along with the colleges, and the address, along with the there is an address for correspondence, and along with the email ID, because after getting selected, your guide will also get a mail from ICMR. So now you need to submit this kind of enclosure or attachments. In this enclosure type, there are some kinds of information, like you need to give an application attestation form, ethical committee approval, informed consent form, case study
Excuse.
form, and study questionnaire. So after that, I'm just completing here. Yeah. So you need to give some kind of enclosure. That enclosure must be scanned and saved as a PDF file for submission. So this compulsory attachment is an application attestation form, which I have already shown you. This is an application attestation form. You need to submit it. Without this, your application will not be valid at all. And optional enclosures are institutional ethical committee clearance or institutional animal ethics committee clearance. What is ethical clearance and what is ethics? You will get this kind of knowledge from Parag sir very soon. He will describe on that. And you need to put the informed consent form, the case study form, and the study questionnaire in this page. Your guide will help you to select this kind of information. And if you want to complete the final part, that is STS application proposal online form part D, that will come after this. This is the final part. This is part D, and it contains the title of your studies, type of the study, the type of the study, the pop-up, the options will be coming like that. And in cases of the subject area, there are so many kind of subjects area. So after that, after selecting your title and the study, and after preparing your study, you need to select the study subject area, and then name of the department where the study will be conducted, and the research proposal should be given, should be pasted as a file. And for this purpose, you need to prepare the research proposal with this, with the help of this, that is reference ID, title of 25 words maximum, introduction of 300 words plus minus 100, objectives of 100 words plus minus 100 words, methodology as 800 words plus minus 100 words, implications 100 words plus minus 50 words, and references 300 words and in a Vancouver style. The most important is the proposal project should not have any identifying information of the student or the guide for unbiased review of the reviewers. That should be kept in mind. So if we consider what is the time strata or time period, you need to check that the first of all, the online registration, this is up to your January or February, and then you will get online proposal submissions till the February 21st. Then review of the application will be done by the ICMR till March, and in April you will get the announcement or result, that announcement of the result. Then you will start the study, you will start the data collection and other process. An online report submission will be done at around, the portal will be open at around August and September, and then you need to submit the report. The final result will come the next year at around February, March. So after that, after this final result, you will get your stipend dispatched and your certificates through the mail. So this is the whole process, and for this process you need to study whatever you want. You should know that you have got the time period of 2 months for exact data collection, review, data collection, analysis, and interpretation or the discussion part. So after that, you can have this. If your proposal and the final submission is getting selected, you will get this kind of certificate. This is to certify that some student of like that, and they are under the guidance of that, and the signed by the director and the director general of ICMR and the scientist G and head of the HRD. So this is the ultimate certificate, and whatever the Parag sir has said, that this is the ultimate success, or either I can say the effort will go into the your successful mean by this thing. And one more thing, I again want to mention that ICMR STS will be helpful to alleviate your CV for several purposes, starting from your interview in some ICMR institutes, in several state institutes, state government jobs, etc. So this will definitely will help your career. And whatever Dr. Parag sir has mentioned, that you should keep in mind that if your study, if your STS is not is rejected in further point time, you should not be very much depressed, because this will help you to get some kind of knowledge regarding research and what is research methodology. And when you will enter in your PG life, you will get some kind of knowledge and you will start with some kind of knowledge uh, than others who will not get that kind of knowledge in their UG days. So you will start a little bit better in way. So now this is for this is my take from this how you should apply through ICMR STS online mode, and how you have to proceed for final proposal submission and final exam preparation. Over to Venkatesh.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for the detailed explanation, sir. Now I request Dr. Parag, sir, to explain about how to do a project. Can you please give us a basic outline, sir?
Yes. So Dr. Anirban has made my job a little easier by showing the timeline of STS. So what usually happens is that the students approach the guide, have some topic in their mind, narrow down the topic to make a research question which is researchable, make it more specific and focused. And then that's how they prepare the proposal and think about what all things would go in conducting that research work during the studentship. So your research proposal is actually like just like a blueprint or your plan of how do you want to conduct that particular research. Now, before you can start doing the research, uh, the newer guidelines and principles says that one has anyone, whether it's a student or a health professional or a practicing doctor doing research, everyone has to pass the research proposal through the ethics committee to see that it does not cause any harm or the ethical standards are upheld in whatever research work that is being undertaken. So before starting the data collection, the student has to get the proposal approved by the ethics committee, and once ethics committee gives us an approval in writing, the students can start data collection. So for this, the ICMR has said that it should ideally it can start from the day one itself. So when you are preparing the proposal and right at the time of submitting the proposal, if you have done the ethical clearance, you can submit your ethical clearance certificate to ICMR. If not, at least you should be doing it before starting the data collection. So for that, the timeline is mentioned on the website is till 15th of August at least, latest. That's the latest. Right? And then once having got the approval, you start the data collection, which which the ICMR is giving the stipend for 2 months. So your project would be something where you can complete the data collection process in 2 months time approximately, followed by your data processing, data analysis and report preparation, and finally submitting the report to ICMR, and also going ahead with uh, publishing your findings in a scientific journal, as well as if you wish, you can as well present your research findings into medical conferences. These days, many students conferences have come up. Many of them in the online mode also are now available. So you also have the opportunity to present your findings in front of the scientific audience. So this is how the journey of a project moves on. Venkatesh, you are muted.
Thank you, sir. Sir, can you please also explain us about how to select a research topic and how to choose a guide?
Yes, Venkatesh. So this is also once again a topic which is very frequently asked, and the students have this particular thing in mind. So when it comes to ICMR STS, the first thing that it comes to their mind is there are many concepts prevalent among the students, and many students feel that research should be something which is very hi-fi. It has to be very innovative, or it has to be path-breaking thing. So if I don't have any such idea, probably the research is not something which is my cup of tea. So many students feel that way. So let me clarify that at the outset, that the research is not something which is very glamorous. First of all, research is something which comes with the sincere, committed, and long-term efforts. So research is not something that a brilliant idea comes to you over, let's say, some time suddenly, and then that's your eureka moment, and then you become very famous and you contribute something very substantially. So no, research doesn't work that way. So one has to apply mind, be very methodological when approaching anything, be very specific about what particular small area of the medical field that one wishes to explore further, and be consistent in doing the data collection and understanding that particular thing in detail with several research participants, so that we are very sure about whatever we are concluding at the end of the research. So whenever it comes to topic selection, there are two kinds of students. Some students which are very less would already have something in their mind. They would be interested in some aspects of medicine, especially those students who are, let's say, in third year, third professional year or second professional year, since they would have spent some time in medicine. Students in the first MBBS or maybe in the early second MBBS would not may not have so many different ideas to explore. So if the student already has some idea to explore, the first thing for those students I would wish to say would be, please explore the existing literature on the topic. So whenever whoever wishes to undertake research, it would usually happen that if that brilliant idea has come to you, it might have come to someone else as well, because everyone is an intelligent person entering medicine. So if that is the case, probably it would be a good idea to read what that particular person did. That person might be a doctor, that person might be a student having undertaken research in the student life itself. So if that's the case, and many people have already done research on that particular area, probably there is not much to explore then. So then it would not be meaningful to reinvent the wheel, and you also doing a same study, which we in the medical profession call it as me too study. So I also do one more study on the same topic, on which the topic has already been explored and a lot has already been known about that topic, right? So if that's the case, then what we need to do is read few of the articles which have already published on that particular exact topic, and read the discussion section. Somewhere towards the end of the discussion section, you will find the authors would any author who writes a paper would always give the ideas for future directions, that we have done on this particular area this far, and having done this, we understood that these future areas or further aspects are worth exploring. So I have done till now, I have gone on the path till this further, and the further ahead are these are the directions where if anyone else wishes to go, they should be going. So if a lot of research already is published, there is nothing to worry or to be disappointed about. Just look at their limitations, look at if you can overcome some of those limitations, or go into the further path in that particular direction. Fine. If nothing much has been published, you can go ahead and have little more clarity about what specific you can go about, wish to go about in that. And having read some articles only, then you should be approaching a guide. So then in the topic of your choice, you would get to know an idea that whether it would pertain to which particular specialty. The medical college has 20 different departments. So which department it would pertain to, or it would relate to more frequently. There are many areas where it would be overlapping. So if you do something on child health, it can come under community medicine, it can come under pediatrics as well. Fine. So find out where it pertains to and identify a faculty member who you are comfortable working with, and then approach and meet the faculty member and discuss. When you venture into a relationship, a mentoring relationship with the guide, the most important thing would be prepared to change. So in the students' lives, if for example, all of us are entering into research, we are very enthusiastic. So we wish to change the world. We wish to do something which is very path breaking, and we wish to come out with brilliant results. So in research, we are not, I mean, we cannot just change everything in the way medicine is being practiced with just one piece of research or with just one research work. So in all probability, your guide would try and refine your research question. So you will go with your guide saying that I want to do something on diabetic patients, and your guide would narrow it down. Your guide would say which type of diabetic patients you wish to work upon. Let's narrow it down to, let's say, the age group. Maybe do you wish to work on young diabetics, or maybe on the children with diabetics, or diabetics with elderly, or diabetics with complications, and so on. So be prepared to receive feedback, and please trust me, trust your guide. So if your guide is saying that this is the thing that you should be doing, your guide has a lot of experience working in that particular field. So if your guide is saying something, it would be coming from their experiences. So this is one set of students who already have something in their mind. Now, the large majority of students do not have anything in their mind. So they would completely be clueless. If I were in my second MBBS, I would also be clueless of what research topic to take. Even the students in postgraduate days, many of them, they are clueless because they are still exploring that particular specialty, right? So that's very natural for you. So do not be disappointed if you do not have any topic in my mind. Just identify which is the area or which is the department you are interested in, or you are little more inclined to, which excites you. Attending lectures on that particular department, or having going through the practicals or going through the clinics on that particular department is something which excites you. So then identify the specialty of your choice, and within that department identify one particular faculty whom you are comfortable working with. Approach that particular faculty, be consistent, because many of the teachers understand that many students come up to them but they do not show commitment. So ensure meet your faculty multiple times, take their time, read some of the articles. If probably it would be a good idea to having read some of the journals of that particular specialty, and come out with 2 or 3 important topics where you feel that you can do something. So let's say if you are going to medicine, you can say that madam or sir, I wish to do something on diabetes, or if not diabetes, I wish to do something on non-communicable disease in general, right? So that the teacher gets to know that you are committed. So unless the teacher gets to know that you have the commitment, it's unlikely that the teacher would also put commitment in you, right? This is especially so in today's times, when say the number of students who are approaching or who are doing ICMR STS are far in number. Let's say a typical medical college would have roughly 150 faculty members and approximately 800 students. So even if 50% of the students wish to do ICMR, we have very less number of faculty members. And let's say the tutor cadre is not as of date not allowed to be faculty members. So we have a very less number of faculty members. So these days, this is a tough competition, right? So you have to show that you are committed. And these are the ways. In any of the categories, you should be going through some of the journals. I'll request Venkatesh, we prepared a very short list of 3 journals which are publishing student research. So it's a good thing that these days student research journals, especially publishing research conducted by medical students, have also come up. There are many of them. What we are sharing is just 3 of them, a sample. So such journals you can go through so that you get an idea what kind of research the students are publishing these days, right? So this is how I feel that is the approach to narrowing down your research topic and approaching the guide.
Thank you, sir. It was very elaborate, and it will be very useful, I suppose. And so many students have an hesitation like, do I even have the capacity to do this? Will I get this proposal? Even if I get this proposal selected, will this STS activities hamper my routine academics? What is your take on this, sir?
Okay. So this is a very interesting question, and I completely relate to the students asking this, because even if I were, let's say, a second MBBS student or third MBBS student, this is the first thing which would come to my mind. And I would, link this back to what I was saying earlier, that many of the students, since these days, the number of students in particular class are so many. So one particular MBBS batch of students is, let's say, approximately 100 students, 150 students, and 200 students. So many of the students do not get so much of one-to-one mentoring relationship with the faculty members. So they have a doubt in their own capacity. So what all it takes. So if I wish to break down this word capacity further into it, it's, let's say, some parts. What do we really mean by the student's capacity to undertake research in the student life itself? So one is that, say, for example, the research capacity would be something that the first thing that comes to my mind is that I should have subject specific expertise. Now I cannot expect expertise in undergraduate student. So to substitute that, I would say that if you have an inclination towards the subject, that would be good enough a strong motivating force for you. So you are more likely to be a successful STS applicant if you do research in the subject of your inclination. Second one important aspect is there are certain type of skills that are required to undertake the project. So one skill is the skill of writing. Now, since all of us medical education goes into English, so your English writing skills need to be there. A little bit other skills are computer skills these days. So you'll be writing your proposal in MS Word document probably. You'll be doing your data collection on probably Excel sheet and probably processing it through some of the softwares, which many people in your medical college will help you with the data collection. uh, then the other part is communication skills. So as part of your STS project, you will meet multiple people. So you'll meet your guide to get your application approved. You'll have to meet the head of the department of the respective department. You will have to meet dean sir for getting the attestation form signed. You'll have to meet your patients as well and convince someone else if you're doing data collection from some other place. You'll meet multiple people. So communication skills is also something which would be required as part of this thing. Apart from this, I would always say that it would help if the research is done as part of the team. So in real life, whenever the research is done in today's times, the research is not done by single person. Research is always done by team, and all the different team members have different expertise. So say for example, if I'm a community medicine person and doing research in the field of nutrition, maybe I would have a nutritionist or dietitian as my team member. If my data analysis involves complex aspects, I would have a statistician on the team, right? So in the real life, it's always a teamwork. So in STS also, it would help if you identify two of your friends also. So one of them might be very good at writing. So that person may help you in writing the proposal. Somebody else might be good at Microsoft Excel and doing with data analysis. So that person might be helping you with data analysis. Someone else who is having good communication skills will help you in data collection as well. So since many students in a medical college are interested in research, it would always be good that you become a part of the team for someone else. So say for example, if three students are interested in research, all three of them can become a part of each other's team. Now, having said that, I should be clarifying that for the purpose of ICMR STS, they are recognizing only one student per project and only one guide per project. So even if those other your friends are on the part of your team, they will not get the certificates in your project. So you only will be getting the certificate. And the same way, in their research projects, if it gets approved, you will not get your name on the certificate. But in the final paper, depending on the discussion with your guide, you can possibly become an author in that particular paper. So you can get the credit of the having work done. So if there are three students working, all the three students can get the authorship surely after talking to the respective guides as well. So when we talk about the capacity, these are the things that are involved. The about other question about whether the student will be able to continue with the routine academics along with the STS, that's surely possible. The only problem that we foresee that ICMR STS can somehow affect the routine academics is when the students take up something which is extremely ambitious. So earlier we were discussing that if you take up the target of, let's say, doing 500 patients data collection, it's obviously very difficult. So there you would feel that we are chasing against time and it's difficult. So take the number of patients that you wish to study in the proposal that you mention, that I'll study so many patients, make it reasonable, and here your guide would help. Right? Sometimes it usually happens that the guides are because the guides understand real world, so they would always it's always the case that the students would wish to study so many different participants, and the guide would break it down to reasonable. So students would say, I would study 400 patients, and guy would say, no, looking at 2 months time, you will only be able to do 50 or let's say 70, and that's good enough a number. So have everything which you propose in your research, something which would be feasible, something which is doable, something which is the scale is something which you can justify within those 2 months. So if you are that reasonable in your application, and if you keep your ambitions within the reasonable limits, you can fairly do the STS as well alongside the academics, I feel.
Thank you, sir. Very well explained. Sir, can you please tell us what are the basic steps right from submission of this proposal? I mean, right from registering for this STS project till the end. What are the steps? Can you please give us an outline, sir?
Yes. So Venkatesh, I'll not repeat this because this is very similar to the earlier question where we mentioned writing from the proposal to the publication. So I'll skip this particular question since we are running a little, we have spent a little amount of time on this, and Dr. Anirvan has also mentioned about this. Just one thing that I wish to mention is in the Indian Association of Preventive Social Medicine's textbook on community medicine, we have written a chapter on research methods in biostatistics. This book would be available in the library of most of the medical colleges. So here we have given a step-by-step approach to this, almost 35 pages, which the students can understand. And I'm sure that there would be many such books available also for guiding student research. So you can lay your hands on one of those books. And these days, a lot many YouTube videos are also available, which are short videos are available. One, let's say, on how do you refine research question, the other on how do you do literature search on PubMed or Google Scholar, the other one on how do you write the methodology. There could be another one on how do you manage your references in the Vancouver style, and so on. There could be something on sample size as well. So a lot of help is nowadays available on this.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So I would like to ask Dr. Anirban, sir, the next questions. Dr. Anirban, sir, can you please explain us about what are the most important points which should be noted so that our topic or proposal gets selected?
Very good point. Thank you, Dr. Parag, sir. You have mentioned hello.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yes. Okay. So you have explained it elaborately and the most important points have been highlighted already. So I just want to mention few things before going to your exact question. That the technical points, the technical things in the ICMR and the ICMR people, how they are going to select these things, these things should be remembered, these things should be kept in mind before going to submit your proposal. So I'm just going to mention few points like the students, they can choose any of their topic related to biomedical research, and they can work under any guide from his or her college. But ICMR doesn't provide any additional funds than these 550,000. So this should be kept in mind. And second is the most important, the proposal that are received from the students are on varying topics, not that these particular topics like public health, not from the medicine, not from surgery like that, not from the anatomy itself. So there are several topics, several subjects of study uh, questions are coming out. So it is possible that the topic of research may not exactly match that the subject qualifications or the expertise of the reviewers or the scientists, but but they are requested to kindly focus on the research aspects and the methodology and the complete the review. So why I'm asking that, why I'm repeating these things, because you need to focus on the methodology part. Dr. Parag sir already mentioned about that, that methodology should be very precise, very complex, very much compact in the form. The next is in generally we are getting the more than 4,000, 5,000 proposals every year, and each proposal has an approximate word limit of 1,500 words, that is almost 4 or 5 pages. So the students may also submit the study questionnaire, case records form as a separate file. So this is a huge load. So if you need to focus on how your proposal will get selected, you need to give stress on some particular areas so that this topic can be catchy, or this your proposal will get selected easily without making such complications. The another most important is that each application is actually evaluated by 3 reviewers, one from administrative reviewer and 2 from the research scientist reviewers. So after this research scientist reviewer, the administrative reviewer will look into the feasibility of the study. Whatever already Dr. Parag Chavda has mentioned, that feasibility within 2 months with this amount of 50,000, you can bear this kind of study, you can undergo this kind of study. So this should be kept in mind. And there is a provision to declare this conflict of interest in the regard of evaluation of STS proposal. And this your review, this scientific review, it will actually it will be done within 10 to 15 days. So you will get the result by April, mid of the April or early in the April. This is the I'm just giving you this brief ideation of that. So now, Venkatesh, I'm going to your question, that what is the priority area for the submission. The priority area should be, I have just enumerated in four to five categories. First of all, this study should be very much unique. Unique in the sense of not according to your textbook. That is that I'm just giving importance on this unique cases. Like there are this kind of studies may have been done in several other setups, but should be done in your setup first from your point of view. And the second thing is the authorized protocolized things should not be there, that is given in your normal textbooks. So this should be the study title or the idea should be little bit unique. You need to follow all the steps mentioned in your ICMR criteria pages that is given in your website. Methodology should be very much appropriate and to the point, so that no questions can be come out from this point. And the third and the last one is the plagiarism should be avoided. What is plagiarism? You should not copy from one paper and just paste it in your proposal, so that when you are going to find out the plagiarism, will get that your proposal has been copied from these articles or those articles, like that. So then the rejection chance will be higher. So next, I must mention this, where are the point we should emphasize more for the selection. So I need to mention that scoring pattern. Venkatesh, if you allow me, I must say that the scoring should be within 100 marks, and in these 100 marks, the introduction will give the 15 marks, the objectives will give you 20 marks, methodology is 30 marks, implication is 15 marks, and new idea of research is 10 marks, and reference is in 10 marks. So again, you get the thing, my point, that is methodology is getting 30 marks. So if you are very much neat and clean and to the point in methodology, you can easily crack your STS. So next thing, I just want to share my screen so that it will be very much helpful for all of you. Is it visible? No, sorry.
Not yet. Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yes. So there are some topics which have been selected in last few years, like in 2018, 2017, like that. And if you get the idea, you will see that there is very common topic, not that much of very much innovative new things which will come in the mind. The whole world will change with this idea, not like that. The research will be simple but very much complete in your sense. Like there is a topic, this is perception and practices regarding noise pollution among traffic police of rural central India. So this has been done in the ENT, under an ENT assistant professor in 2017, and the student has got selected. Another one is the study of iatrogenic loss of blood in neonates admitted in NICU. Is very much important. But whatever we are thinking, we are giving stress on a newer thing, but we are not getting whatever happened already in day-to-day practice. We need to focus on that also. You need not to find out something new, but you need to find out whatever happening around you, so that the policy can be changed, so that the new methodology, new kind of application will be given at the administrative point of view. So I am going to give some suggestions on the proposal writing. So first of all, your title should be short, accurate and concise, and should make the central objectives and the variables of the study clear to the reviewer. The introduction part should be rational. There should be rationale behind the work. There should be importance of the study. There should be uh, uh, defending position of the model. You should briefly describe the experimental design and how it accomplished the stated objectives. Describe the situation and clarify the gaps in the existing knowledge. That is the most important thing. What is the gap? Your objective should be specify what kind of knowledge of the study is expected to obtain and what is to be described, determined, identified, compared, and or confirmed. So in methodology section, I'm giving we both of the today's speaker, we are giving emphasis on that part again because this need more attention from your side as well as your guide's opinion. This may include the type of the study, study design, study population, sample size and selection criteria, proposed intervention, if any, data collection procedures and instruments used, quality control, confidentiality, plan of analysis, ethical considerations with all required forms. If you all want to get the idea of everything, that is what do you mean by the type of study, what do you mean by the study design, what are the study population, you should go through the book, whatever Dr. Parag has said. But if you want to focus on what are the topics, what are the points you need to focus, this is your guide, that the type of the study, design, population, sample size and selection criteria, proposed intervention, data collection procedure, quality control, confidentiality, plan of analysis or statistical tools, and ethical consideration. Now, your last part, last but not the least, the implications that describes what is expected or to be achieved or gained from the proposed research work. You are the researcher. You are going to find out something which is new or which is already there, but you are going to find out the exact scenario. So you know what is the implication of the study, and then you have to give the reference in a proper Vancouver style. This is another most important thing. This is actually a good practice in future also, when you will be a good clinician, when you will be a good researcher, when you will be good academician, academician, you will get this kind of knowledge, like whatever you are giving in reference should be according to your Vancouver style. So with this, I just want to mention that whatever the point that will give you the negative score, you should also consider. That is, proposal has been copy pasted or plagiarized, already I have mentioned. The identifying information revealed, like name, contact information of the guide, the student, should not be given. Only you can give your medical college's name in the title part. That is enough. Work already completed or proposal prepared in the past tense should not be given. Research is not feasible. That is, I have already mentioned, this time frame is 2 months only in a medical college setting, unlikely to be carried out by the UG people. So these things will be kept in mind, should be kept in mind. And unethical study or work plan should be kept in mind. If there is any kind of unethical things which you will not get the ethical clearance further, but you have already submitted the proposal, this will not get any kind of support or help. So these are the my suggestions for your uh, part. I just want to mention that already Venkatesh has said that I have already selected for 4 times, consecutive times for STS, and if I will want to find out my first topic, that was completely different from my current, that time my year, that is my second year, when I am going to study, which I was going to study like pathology, pharmacology, microbiology, and forensic medicines. In that time, I am going to get some study which is related to biochemistry as well as psychiatry. So there is assessment of stress and related albuminuria in caregivers of severely mentally ill persons. So I approached my biochemistry teacher, who was very much helpful in all aspects, but I was clueless that how can we get that this albuminuria and stress like proteinuria, how can we correlate it? Where can I found the patient? I can find the patients like that. And my that teacher, that is already, he is also in the article, that is Dr. Indranil Chakraborty, Professor Dr. Indranil Chakraborty. He guided me to contact another person. He is another professor in psychiatry, Dr. Prathama Guho. She helped me, and she was the ultimate guide of my study, and to frame the study, to help to get the information from the patients, and to finalize the ultimate proposal, as well as the ultimate plan, ultimate research article. So this is the article which actually been selected by ICMR for the STS studentship, and it was been submitted. It has been submitted in your ICMR journal, which is very much that time as a high impact factor, that is IGMR, Indian Journal of Medical Research. And there is a part called Student IGMR in the year of 2014. It took 2 years to get selection. After submission, it took 2 years to get selected through this IGMR. So for research, why I am giving you this kind of example? Because in for almost 80% of you will face similar kind of experience like me. First of all, you will get no clue where you should start. You will get no clue where we will get proceed, and you will not get the clue that after your research have been selected, what you will do further. So this is the guide. This is the actually whatever I have earned through that ICMR STS first time, that made me actually more confident to apply further or subsequent times. And that actually uh, in the future, I'm just giving you a simple instances. In future, when the juniors who are getting the entrance in the first or second year, they are getting to me to get the idea regarding the STS. Not, they are not going to the senior faculties like that. So whatever I will guide them because I was at that time at like that, like those people who are getting confused, who are getting the topic, were actually struggling with the STS, but they are intended to do. I was helping them like that, that what will be your first step and how you can approach or proceed further to get the STS, and to get the name of the STS award winner along with your name. So that's all. So I hope with our these discussions you can get whatever we have, whatever we want to give you, the whatever we want to emphasize, that uh, STS, what does STS mean, along with what are the steps to overcome to get the STS projects, STS, uh, your funding, your certification, the steps, the actual the road or path to get this, the journey to get this, we have already discussed thoroughly. So now, Venkatesh, you can have or invite questions from the audiences. If there is any question, Dr. Parag and myself can discuss or answer.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for the excellent webinar, Dr. Anirban sir, Dr. Parag sir. Hope the knowledge gained of this webinar will be of immense help to our participants. Thanks a lot, sirs, despite your busy schedules. So we are coming to the far end of the session. Let us take few questions from the audience. Audience, please start typing the questions. Meanwhile, I would like to invite you to our upcoming IMA JDN event that is on Feb 15, 6 p.m. We are organizing a webinar on NEET PG 2022 orientation, where toppers from NEET PG 2021 will be sharing their study strategies with us. You can find the registration link for these events in IMA Facebook page, Instagram page, as well as in my personal profile. So coming back, let us check the chat box. We do have a lot of questions, but I'll filter out those which are already answered. Sir, first I would like to take the question of Dr. Dr. Ifat Jamal. Can we include retrospective studies? This is the query. Would Parag sir be able to take this question?
Yes, surely we can do retrospective studies for ICMR. A lot of students take up retrospective studies, and retrospectives fits perfectly well for student research. It's completely legitimate. The only thing that you should be taking care would be the research topic that you pursue should be meaningful. Right? It should not be just it's convenient to take retrospective samples. So we have taken that. So if it's purposeful, surely retrospective studies are perfectly fine.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Dr. Rupali Gaut has asked, uh, sir, I have a query about in proposal submission section, and that is what is the case study form and how to make it for a clinical study. Dr. Anirban sir, will you be able to answer this?
Yes, the case study form means whichever data you are going to collect, you need to frame a study form. Like if you need to get some kind of background information like your age, gender, occupation, your education, your monthly income, like that. So you need to frame a interviewing questions, or that can be called as a case study form. You need to ask the, that is your study participant, you need to ask the question, ask these topics, and you get the answers, and you need to fill this case study form. Case study form will give you the basic data for the for your study. And there are two things, two separate things. There are some questionnaire and there is some case study form. Questionnaire means there can be a open-ended or close-ended, or there can be a something which is already been used in some other kind of validated uh, study questionnaire. So in this questionnaire, for some kind of WHO questionnaire, there will be some kind of psychiatric measurement questionnaires. So in these questionnaires, you will be given some questions regarding your whatever you're going to take, whatever you're going to analyze, whatever you're going to uh, find out. So this is separate thing. This is the questionnaire. In your case study form, you need to give these the basic details like demographic, socio-demographic factors, your background characteristics, along with the factors related to your study. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Sir, we'll take the last question from Dr. Vishaka. My STS project was selected for ICMR STS 2020, and I have submitted my project in November 2021. Can I participate this year as well?
Can I take this one?
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Yes, you can participate with a new research question.
Okay.
Yes,
So,
the example is the speaker itself. So I just want to mention you that don't copy your research study or try to change the topic or try to change your guide. The those who are actually scrutinize these things, they will just check these things. That is your name, your guide name, whether they are matching or not, whether the topics are almost in the similar form or not. Otherwise, this will not create any harm, any kind of problem.
okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Though there are other questions in the chat box, we'll skip due to lack of time. Now, I request the National Joint Secretary of IMA and WHO consultant, Dr. Aravind Swami, to deliver the vote of thanks.
I take this opportunity to thank our respected speakers, Dr. Parag Chavda sir and Dr. Arvind sir, and the host, Dr. Venkatesh Karthikeyan sir, for the wonderful session you have made today. Looking forward for more sections, and the audience will be waiting for us. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you so much, Dr. Arvind. Once
Before,
again,
thank you, Arvind. Also, I'm just going to mention Venkatesh. Just if there are more questions, we can accumulate, we can collect them, and we can one by one answer them through our Facebook page, or you can create something, some other kind of portal, so that the people will get their help, people will get benefited. Okay.
sure, sir, sure. Sir. Thank you so much, everyone. Once again, I thank Dr. Anirban sir, Dr. Parag sir, Dr. Abul sir, Dr. Shiv sir, Dr. Arvind Swami, and all our 500 plus registered participants for making this webinar a great success. Thanks a lot, everyone. We are closing now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.